Now, in this particular example, because we're going deeper into objects and the object-oriented side of programming, you'll see that we've got a new keyword here in front of the attribute declarations. So instead of just having string name and int age, we've now got private string name, private int age. And these are what's known as visibility modifiers. Now, we won't go too much into this in this course, but just know that public is a visibility modifier, private is a visibility modifier too. And what these mean, basically, is you can think of it like celebrities. So just like celebrities, for example, have a public life, where they're in the public eye, they attend, for example, premieres, get interviewed on chat shows, have the paparazzi following them around, taking pictures, that kind of thing. That's their public life. So everything there is on display for the public to see, for everyone to see. But they also have a private life as well. And their private life is hidden from view. Only people closest to them can get exposed to their private life. And it's exactly the same thing with visibility modifiers in Java. If something is public, either a method or a class, then everybody can see that method or class. See meaning they're able to use it, either reference it if we're thinking about a method, or create a new object out of it if we're thinking of classes. And by everybody, we mean any other classes, any other methods in any other package. So that's the notion of public visibility. And for private, private is just accessible to the class in which those either data attributes or methods are declared. So to make this a little bit more tangible, for example, here we have private string name private int age. That means at this point, even if I created a person, me equals new person, for example, and then did me dot, you can see here I don't have name or age available. They're not in bold, they're not available for me to access. And that's because this app class, as you can see here, this app class happens to be in the same package as this person class. However, because these attributes in person are private, the app class can't access them. Conversely, if they were public, and now if we go back to the app class and do me dot, you can see they're now available. In fact, anybody or any class or any method inside a class can now access these elements. So this begs the question, what's the point of visibility then? Well, it's all about only letting people see what they need to see. We have this idea in Java of encapsulation, or sometimes it's called information hiding. And the idea is that basically an object can access and looks after its own state, in other words, its own data attributes, its own member variables or fields. These are all different terms for the same thing, the values that it holds at runtime. And that object's methods, those are exposed to outside classes. That's fine. So the methods are public. After all, other classes need a way of being able to interact with the object. That's fine. But the actual values, the actual state, the actual data that the objects hold, those are private. And then the only people who can change that state, change those values, are the methods themselves inside that class. And in this way, it keeps things much tidier. Because if you think about it, if everything was public, then it means that everybody could change everybody else's data values and state. And it's not immediately apparent from a very small program like this, just for demo purposes of like a couple of classes. But if you imagine a much larger program with say 50 different packages, say 500 to 1,000 different classes, if you imagine, if you don't maintain so-called encapsulation, in other words, if you don't keep the state of an object private to that object, then you can imagine that when things go wrong, it's very difficult to track down who changed which variable and which code path it kind of went down. So that's why we do that with visibility modifiers. So if we just go back to here, in general, we make them private. So data attributes are private on a class in Java, and everything else is public. So the class declaration is public, as we can see here, and any methods we have on there are also public too. So that's probably an easy way of just remembering it now. Just basically make sure that whenever you declare data attributes inside your objects, mark those as private for the visibility modifier, and conversely the classes, the class declaration, and the methods inside the class, just make those public. And the constructor as well, which we'll cover in a second.